The Quran says, قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ مَعَهُ آلِهَةٌ كَمَا يَقُولُونَ إِذٍ لَابْتَغَوْا إِلَى ذِي الْعَرْشِ سَبِيلًا. Tell them, if as they claim there were gods besides God, they would surely seek to dethrone him. Surah number 17, verse 42. Imam Amin Yasin Islahi writes, the idolaters of Arabia considered God to be the sovereign deity analogously on the basis of kings and rulers of this world. They also professed faith in a lot of other deities about whom they thought that they had a share in this rule and would be able to procure the nearness of God for those who worship them and would be able to have the desires and wishes of these worshippers fulfilled. This verse is a refutation of this baseless claim. They are told that if God had partners and associates as they think, then they, at some time or another, would have tried to rebel against him and overthrow him, and the whole system of this world would have been disrupted. The implication is that the worldly kingdoms and kings on the basis of which they have analogously set up partners of God, every now and then would get disrupted and geographically altered because of the rebellions and disputes from their courtiers. However, here, no one can even point out a single instance in which, for example, the sun left its path or the earth its orbit. In other words, this aspect is referred to in the following words, لَوْ كَانَ فِيهِمَا آلِهَةٌ إِلَّا اللَّهُ لَفَسَدَتَا. Or, were there other gods in the sky and the earth besides God, they would have become disrupted. Surah number 21, verse 22. Imam Amin Islahi, Tadabbur-e-Quran, Volume 4, page 508. At another place, the Quran says, أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَسْجُدُ لَهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَالشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ وَالنُّجُومُ وَالْجِبَالُ وَالشَّجَرُ وَالدَّوَابُّ وَكَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ وَكَثِيرٌ حَقَّ عَلَيْهِ الْعَذَابُ وَمَنْ يُهِنِ اللَّهُ فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ مُكْرِمٍ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَفْعَلُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Do you see that whatever is in the heavens and the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the trees, the beasts, and countless men, all prostrate before God, and there are many on whom punishment has become mandatory, and he who is humiliated by God has none to honor him, because God does what he intends according to his law. Surah number 22, verse 18. Cited here is the argument in favor of Tawheed, which is testified by every object of this universe by its very existence. We have already alluded to the fact that every object of this universe in its nature has an Abrahamic temperament. The sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, and the animals that tread the earth all follow the divine law on which they have been created. None of them deviates from this law in the slightest manner. The sun, whom some foolish people worship, bears testimony from its very existence that it stands and bows before the Almighty every day. It raises its head at the time of sunrise and then stands before the Almighty till noon. After midday, it kneels before him, and at sunset prostrates before him and remains in this position all night. It is to this reality which the waxing and waning of the moon and the rising and setting of stars point. The same is true for the mountains, trees, and animals. Their shadows at all times stand, kneel, or bow down before the Almighty, and a little deliberation shows that such is the Abrahamic temperament of this shadow that it always remains opposite to the sun. If the sun is in the east, the shadow will stretch in the west, and vice versa. In other words, the shadow of every object from its very existence tells us that it is not the sun, but its creator who is worthy of prostration. This argument in favor of Tawheed is more of a hint and is seldom grasped by logicians. However, for those who reflect on the universe, this hint has great value. Amin Yasin Islahi, Tadabbur-e-Quran, Volume 1, page 229.